What's good, YouTube? This is your boy Anthony Harris. I am the proud founder and owner of Legacy Careers LLC. This is my first YouTube video, so welcome and welcome all. I started this business in July of this year, and it's really as a passion project of mine. I really did want to help other career executives not only be able to get in the door and get an interview with a hiring manager, but land the perfect job for your future career. I have well over a decade's worth of experience as a corporate leader and a hiring manager. So I'm here to really help and tell you my insights on what I see, what works and what doesn't work for me when it comes to landing the job and getting your foot in the door of the job or the corporation that you really want to work for. So if you're interested in that, hit that like and subscribe button. There are going to be plenty of videos coming, and I promise you, they're going to get better in time and quality. But they're going to be covering the different things and different scenarios like resume tips, interview skills, LinkedIn optimization, and other skill sets that you probably need, including interpersonal skills, in order to land you the perfect job that you need for the future. So if you're interested in that, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button and come on back. Now, in this video today, we're going to be talking about how to perfect that perfect resume going into 2025. Now, a lot of people don't realize that your resume is your invitation in the door just to talk to somebody like me, who has been a hiring manager and has helped over thousands of employees not only get a job, but also gain in their career in order to move to the next level. And in order for that to happen, you have to be able to get in the door. And that's what your resume is, your invitation into the door. So if you, just a little hint, if you've been applying to over 100 so jobs and you haven't gotten a call for an interview, it's your resume. So you may want to sit back and take some notes on how we can improve your resume today. Any other questions? Hit me up, hit that button, follow my link. My website will be fully active and live in December of this year. And if you want to work with me one-on-one or my team, just hit us up. We'll definitely be able to help you a little bit more. Just sit back and relax and let's get into this video. Today's topic is really circling around crafting your perfect resume, really for 2020, 25, and in the future after that. So whether you're updating your resume or you're starting from scratch, you just graduated college, I'll walk you through some key steps of what you need to look out for to make sure that your resume stands out against the hiring managers, and you get past the things such as like the ATS systems and the like. So let's get started. If you don't know what the ATS system is, don't worry, I'll kind of guide you through that through this process as well. So let's talk about resumes in general. Like what format hiring managers looking for? Hiring managers are really looking for general, generic, friendly, easy to read resumes. I know at some point, I think when Canva came across, everybody thought, like pictures on it. I make so many cute graphics, make it look so nice and professional and be unique and stand out amongst everybody's resume. Because when they see my resume, it's going to be hot eye in their face. Yet none of that works. A lot of resumes are being read by the ATS system. ATS just simply stands for the Applicant Tracking System. Is not really, some people get it a little bit confused and think that it's an AI system actually reading your resume. There's not. It really just tracks your resume and kind of sorts it and breaks it apart. The issue with that is that it's reading your resume, and if you have things like graphics and complicated designs on there, it's not going to be able to parse your resume, and it's going to think that it's an error in your resume, and you get knocked out of the system before you even begin. So what we really need is honestly generic, bland resumes that can pass the ATS system. And when I say bland, I mean it just doesn't have all the colorfuls and the graphics and all those little things on it, but we could still make it impactful because really, hiring managers and recruiters, they only look at your resume 8 seconds, maximum 30 seconds, and that's really pushing it. If we don't see that you have the skills really within the first 15 seconds of us reviewing it, we're moving on to the next resume. And you may think that that's unfair, but you have to remember there are thousands of people or hundreds of people, depending on the kind of industry you're applying to, that send resumes every day. And we don't have time to sift through and make sure that you have everything dotted. So as soon as we don't see things that aren't aligned, we quickly move to the next things. So follow these friendly tips, and we'll go through some more later as well. So make sure that your font is easy to read. So what I recommend is Arial or Calibri, however you want to pronounce it. But use one of those generic ones. I also like a newer one called Aptos. Aptos is really nice. I've seen it utilized in a few resumes. It's very nice and clean. Use something very simple to read. Don't do the ones that have the extra cursives and the things that are hard to read. You have to remember it has to be good on the eyesight. And if it's hard to read, I'm just honestly telling you to move on to the next one. We're not even giving it time. Next thing is, like I said, please avoid using those complicated graphic and designs on those. And I'll show you a few examples of what I mean by that. It's the ones that everybody thinks they could put different things like the little scales or cutesy designs and things like that. Throw away your Canva resumes. Those won't work. Simplicity really is key here. Next, make sure that you stick to the PDF formats to maintain a certain structure in your resumes. Don't put them in Microsoft Word and send them through Microsoft Word. There are a few issues I see with that, especially when people like their names are not common. It immediately flags that, like, when as soon as you put it in, it'll like underline it with a little red cursor and things like that. So sometimes hiring manager just may assume that you got a whole bunch of uh, keying errors and misspellings, and it may just be your freaking name. So just keep it in PDF format, keeps it clean, keeps a nice structure, and keeps it very good to go. Next, use clear section headers. So like this summary, experience, skills, and education. Don't try to reword them to something that you think that you will like. Like, what did I do? Like, if instead of experience section, like, don't try to make it cutesy. Like, don't try to do that for your. Just make it clean and plain because you remember the ATS system is parsing your resume and is looking for these keywords and structures to parse up your sections of kind of what information you have on. Also, replace if you have an objective statement in your resume, take that out. Nobody wants to see that. We know your goal is to get a job. Change it to a career summary or professional summary section, kind of like how your goals and the things that you've done in the past align to the current job that you're applying for. Okay, next we're going to talk about the ATS compliance system. So over 90% of the companies in the US now especially use the ATS or the applicant tracking system. So they do filter out non-compliant resumes. That's why I was telling you don't do things like your Canva resumes or things like that because if you use all of those type of graphics and things like that, it can't read them and it will knock out your resume before a hiring manager ever got a chance to even see it. Also, make sure you use the standard section titles. Like I said, use things like experience, not something like what I've done or past work or things like that. Just keep it generic, keep it nice, like be straightforward. Okay. Next, avoid images, charts, or graphics that confuse ATS. So not only can graphics and images confuse ATS, but it also may create bias in the hiring manager. Don't put things like your personal picture on there. I know you look good, but if we want to see a picture of you, we could go to your LinkedIn profile that could be attached to your resume. But it inherently creates bias of like you're looking through 100 resumes and then you just inherently see a picture of some random person. And you're like, okay, like you don't want to create bias, maybe or anything like that from the jump. You just want people to see your skills. Let them lean into your skills and kind of what you have accomplished. Let them get hooked on that, not your image. That tends to work a lot more better for you in the end. Next, using keywords for industry specific phrases. So what I mean is tailor your resume for each job posting. And most people think, oh my gosh, you're going to redo this entire freaking resume every freaking time. No, that's not what I'm saying. When we say tailor your resume, means make sure the things that are in your resume are applicable to the job title that you're applying for. What do I mean by that? Let's say you're applying to a customer service position. Then obviously you're going to want to make sure you have terms in your past experience or in your resume, your skill sections that relate to customer service. If your next job is an outside sales rep, you're not going to want to have those customer service terms or skill sets in your resume. You're going to want to make sure those are applicable to that outside sales position. So whatever position you're applying for, make sure you're using the right targeted key phrases inside of your resume. If you need help on that, that also is in the job description. Use the job description itself. It tells you kind of what they're looking for. And if you look at the list of highlights of the skills that they're looking for, just make sure those are mentioned somewhere throughout your resume. Now, please do not do a copy and paste from the job description inside of your resume. If they say they're looking for someone who has 10-year experience of 10 years, don't just copy and paste that into your resume. It doesn't work like that. It's just saying make sure that it matches kind of what they're looking for and the key phrases that are relevant to that job description. Okay. Next, make sure you highlight any skills that are in demand in your industry. So if you're a project manager and you don't mention anywhere about project management experience, yeah, that's a fail on its face. If you don't have anything about any certificates that you have or any projects that you've led or things like that, obviously, then it doesn't seem like you're in the right place or the right position. And if you need help with that, we'll help you with that also at Legacy Careers LLC because a lot of people may not know what career you're set for or what you're ready for at that time. And that's okay. I mean, when I first got out of college, being for high school, really, I really wanted to go into healthcare. Love biology, even did my undergrad for biology, did my master's in biology, and then did a second master's for business. I was really trying to find myself and I think a lot of people have difficulty when you're just searching and you're just trying to find yourself. You just think that let me just go to the job that takes me, and it's like, no, you actually have a skill set. And once you learn your skill set or what problem you solve at a job, then you know what your next steps are. You know what you need to do. You know what problem you fix in an organization. Then you can go from one job or one organization to another, knowing what problem that you fix and what skill set and why they need to hire you, not why you're begging to go work for them, if that makes sense. Next, so let's talk about crafting your strong resume here. So make sure you summarize your key achievements in 2 to 3 sentences. You really want to put that towards the top of your resume and make sure it's that it's effective. Don't keep it generic. I'll show you some examples of kind of how I also want you to put your skill sets and when you're making your crafting your bullet points on your resume, because if it's not effective, nobody wants to read that. Like if you are a receptionist at even a banking company, if you just say answer the phones, okay, they have robot bots that answer the phone. Like you need to say the skill set of what you brought to the job. What did you achieve? Like, and if you want to think about it, start with a story. I always think about that. Before I started at Starpipe Products, there was no training program. He literally handed us a book of really 2,000 pages with different part codes, descriptions, and vernacular that was unfamiliar to me. And now I'm the freaking training specialist. So I have a lot to talk about. I can say led a training organization, increased retention by 25% through training new hires through a 12-week training program. Like you need to be able to transform what you did and what you accomplished there and put it in word form. That's what this is. And I think that's why sometimes resumes are hard for people because it's a self-reflection exercise. And some people, it's harder for you to self-reflect. And sometimes if you just write those things down and even talk externally to somebody can help you put those thoughts and ideas together. Okay. Next, you need to focus on the value that you brought to the company. This is not, like I said, I just answer the phones. I just gave somebody a tour. I just did this. Like, what did you do? Like, were you just sitting there? Were you an innocent bystander? Did you see something that was wrong in the company that you transformed? What value did you add in? I know sometimes it may be hard to quantify that. If you need to use tools, of course, like ChatGPT, it can also help you with things like quantifying your accomplishments in a sensible fashion. What I mean is, don't go too extreme. It's like, oh, I saved the company uh, $30 million by doing this thing. Like, no, just be sensible. I would say the safest thing is to use percentages. If you're unsure of the dollar value you've added to certain things, that makes it safer. So lastly, I'm going to talk about measurable results. So these are a couple different examples of the type of bullet points that you can include in your resume. Led efficiency projects by led an efficiency project that increased quarterly sales by 20% in the revenue. Like you see how I didn't give a dollar value of how much revenue it generated, just increased it by 20%. Next, reduce operational costs by 15% through strategic vendor negotiations. Things like that. You're not just saying, oh, I did sales. I advocated for sales. I called customers to give sales. Like, no, it's an action. That's why all of them start with action verbs. I led this. I reduced this. I highlighted this. I taught this. It's led this. Like you give action verbs of what you did, not what happened to you while you're at the job. Okay. Next, make sure you use metrics to show that your impact. So, like I said, use percentages of dollar amounts. If you're unsure of the dollar amount that you've done, stick with percentages. If you need help in crafting that, I suggest you reach out to me and my team at Legacy Careers LLC. Also, you can also use different things in different systems and to kind of get your quantifiable experience. A lot of this, like I said, is a self-reflection exercise. I bet you if you wrote 12 things that you did in the past year at your job, and not just tasks that you've done, but things that you have actively done and has created a positive offset for the company, and then figure out how to quantify those and speak on those effectively, you'll land your next job within 3 months. But it's when you have a disconnect of you don't know how to talk about it, you don't know how to write about it. And so that's why you can't get to your next job. You have to be able to put those things together for a new employer to see the value you brought in the last company and how you could transform that into a new company. Okay. Next, this is what I was talking about. We need to customize our resume for each job. So don't just use the same resume for every job that you're applying to. That goes back to if you're applying to a customer service job, you cannot be applying, you cannot have things in your resume that's just all about sales or tech. You need to make sure that you're strategizing and updating your resume to fit the types of jobs that you're applying for. Okay. And if you need help tailoring your resume to a specific job, use inspiration for the job description. The job description will give you keywords that you need to make sure that you have included in your current resume. Okay. And you need to make sure that you emphasize, not only just list those skills, you need to emphasize and show those skills on how you've done those skills in the past job and how they led you to being a perfect candidate for this new job. That's what the resume is there for, is to showcase you before you ever speak to a hiring manager. So if you're applying to 1,000 jobs and you never hearing back, I can guarantee you it's your resume. And you need to fix that first before you are ever able to get in front of a hiring manager or a recruiter. Okay. Next, make sure that you keep your resume updated with your latest skills. So this is something that I actually struggled with for quite a long time. I didn't do it until like an executive, um, not an executive recruiter, but basically an executive, a career consultant, where I basically had to run down everything I've done at my job because I've had over 7 or 8 promotions at my job. So I've done a lot of jobs. A lot of the jobs that I moved into, they were never even written in stone before I moved into those positions. And so I never had a chance to really reflect back. And it's one thing I wish I did at the time. So every year I would say just it could be the end of the year, beginning of the year, write out your accomplishments. Because it's so funny how you look back and you go like, dang, I did do that. Dang, we really didn't do that. Oh yeah, I made that system too. Oh yeah, I gave that report to my boss and he used that to go to tell the president about this new update. And I never even got post credit for that, but you can get credit for it in your resume if you know how to quantify those achievements. Okay. Next, use a clean design to ensure you have our ATS compliant. There are 1,000 resume builders online, okay, that are ATS compliant. If you want one that's impactful, you can also reach out to me and my team. We can make you one. We can help guide you to one. We have even templates you can download on the website to utilize for ATS compliant ones specific to your industry and your job title. But make sure you use one and that you feel confident in. Because when you go in for the interview, they want to make sure that the person they interview matches the resume that they got. Okay, you can't have a strong resume and then you can't interview and speak to those skill sets that you talked about in your resume, right? So next, focus on your impact, not just your responsibilities. Like I said, don't just say answer the phone. You can say, handled over 120 calls per hour incoming, handled customer complaints to increase customer satisfaction by 20% within the organization. You see how that's much more or a better offset or explaining of it, other than I answered the phone. Like, I'm glad you answered the phone, but what impact did you have based off of that? Like, go beyond your job description that they give you when you first start at a job. Go beyond that. What impact did you make within an organization? That's what lets us know as a hiring team or a hiring manager, oh, they're ready for this. They know what they did, they know their impact, and they're ready to do that same impact here. Okay. So here's some examples of some bad resumes. And I'm going to say that they're bad just because of anything particular. They're just bad in that they don't work in the new ATS format. Okay. So the first one with this Patrick Holland resume, you see, first of all, what did I tell you? No pictures. Take the pictures off. You see the beautiful graphic for his skill set and his interest and all of these little about section. Very beautiful, very eye-catching. Will never see the light of day with a hiring manager with the ATS system. The graphics cannot be parsed. Remember, it is a system that is simply parsing your resume into the sectors. It can't parse this and it will kick it out immediately. Same thing with this Hamdugo resume. It's beautiful that he has the skills and he has the money going up graphics and he has his picture and things like that. None of that works in the ATS system. It also doesn't work with the hiring managers. Take that out. Pictures, instant biasness. Second, ATS system is hard to get by. Take that out. It can't be like that. Next is Charles Forgorn. This is an issue of the graphics and the font he's utilizing. Like I said, you want clear font, something that like Arial or Calibri, something like that, or Aptos is one I like to. Don't go too fancy with this. Like, I can't easily read it just off a site. I would have to literally focus my eyes and to make sure I read every line, which, like I said, we're going through thousands of resumes. I don't have time to read every little detail. I kind of want to be able to look up and down and see, does he have the skills to get this job? Can he do this job? I don't know. I'd have to go read this in depthly, and I'm not going to. And you may feel like, oh, that's so harsh. Why wouldn't they just read it all? I mean, I spent the time to make my resume. I agree, but now take that and then multiply that times thousands of them, and then you do the same. You sit there and read your resume and think that you want to read it 1,000 times. You wouldn't. You want it to be easy to read, and you're doing it for the employer, not for just for yourself. Okay. So examples of a good resume. Let's start with this William Davis one. Immediately. You see how it's scaled off in the different sections? That's easy for the ATS system to parse out. It can easily parse out his skills, his experience, his education. So if the system wanted to see, does he have the necessary degree requirement for the job we need? It could easily detect that. It can easily say, yes, he has a bachelor's degree. That's what we require. It sees it. Next, you can see at the top, he also says what he is. He's an experienced project manager. He's an IT leader, and he also specializes in cost management. Right? His skill set, his first skill set. Obviously, he's applying to a project manager role. His first skill is project management. You see how he's matching his skills to his experience And then you can see all of his experience: senior IT project manager, IT project manager, associate project manager. All of this leads to me knowing I didn't have to read but few words on his thing to say he's great for project management. He has the degree requirement. He has experience in this. He has a skill set we need for this, and he has a longevity and experience for this. Bring him in for an interview. See how quick that was? I didn't spend 8 seconds for reading. But it's quick because my eyes are trained, especially hiring manager and recruiters' eyes are trained to quickly get the details that they need to see if you fit their profile or what they need. And if they have to go parsing and trying to go find and do this, they're not going to. Next, over here to the right, the experience section. You see here they have software engineer and then they put their responsibility at the top. So if you want to put something like that, just a generic statement, you don't want line. I was responsible for this. But you need to say what your impact was right underneath. You see what he did? Design and implement. Develop scalable and efficient game system, manage technology projects, anticipated and prevented problems that led to a 30% reduction in software bugs. You see how they're actionable steps and see how he's basically transformed things within the organization. He just didn't list, oh, I filtered IT problems. He didn't just say that. Next, you see this education system. By the way, we'll talk a little bit more about this in the further videos. Education, especially if you are not a recent graduate, education goes at the bottom of your resume. If you are freshly out of college, education goes at the top of your resume because you have no experience. So your education is your best bet. Then you go to things that you have worked on or relevant coursework and things like that. We'll talk about that specifically for recent college graduates. But you can see here, education, what did you get your degree in? Relevant coursework. Are there any certificates that you also obtained in your education system or outside of your education system that may be relevant to the jobs? So these are good examples and templates of kind of how you want to put your resume together. And lastly, if you need some more help crafting your resume, of course, you can contact Legacy Careers LLC for more personalized resume advice. We do have templates, industry-specific templates, and we also have services, of course, where we can also update your resume and even your LinkedIn profile for optimization, things like that. But of course, that's up to you. I'm really here to be a resource to those out there who need it. So whether you're freshly out of college, whether you are stuck, you feel like you don't know where to go next in your career, you know you that your job is not currently fulfilling, but you don't know where to go, or you're trying to move to middle management and trying to be a leader within your organization, reach out to us. We're here to help. Like I said, I've been in the manufacturing industry well over a decade, and I've had tons of experience in this. And I've been a hiring manager. I've been in the rooms and the doors of what happens after y'all leave an interview. I've been in the rooms where we get thousands of job applications and resumes to review. And I know kind of what hiring managers are saying when y'all do leave the door, when y'all leave out the door, or when y'all submit your resumes. We see thousands of them. So I have the experience, I have the knowledge, and I really do want to just be a helpful and useful tool for everybody else. So if you have any questions, please reach out. Like I said, hit the like button and subscribe, especially if you made it to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll talk to you all later. See you. So if you like the content that we're giving out here on YouTube, please continue to like and follow us. If you'd like to work with us a little bit more one-on-one with me or my team, go to legacycareersllc.com. It'll be fully launched in December of 2024, and we'll be happy to assist you. We're working with one-on-one on your resumes, your LinkedIn optimizations, or you can take some of my courses. I have a career mastery program where it's a 12 module program, and you want to do it yourself. You want to just take my tips, my tools and tricks and apply them to yourself, you can use that program as well, or you can take my 4-day career intensive and we'll work in a group in order to make sure that you can get into the career that you need to on a fast track. Or if you like me and my team to actually work on your resume and optimize it ourselves, we have those options as well. So take a look at legacycareersllc.com for more tips and tricks and come on back. We'll be dropping a lot more YouTube videos, hopefully once a week, if not more. And if you like that, just follow us.